My mom, my dad, my sister, and their dog Bridget. Hello, my name is John Parker. I'm doing an informative speech today, and it's going to be on bees. According to ThoughtCo Online, they say that worker bees can visit 2,000 flowers a day. Now you'd say that that's a busy bee. So as you can guess, we're going to be talking about bees today. Bees are a huge asset to our society. Without bees, trees wouldn't be pollinated, no fruit would be barren from the trees. So today I'm going to talk about the importance of the bees, about the bees, and all the obstacles that a bee has to deal with in their life. The reason I chose to speak to you today about beekeeping is because it's not just a hobby of mine, it's been a passion of mine since I was a little boy. And with the bees, it's excitement. When you talk to another beekeeper, you both are very, very passionate about it, and you want to exchange more information, learn something new from him, what he knows, and what you can pass to him, and what's worked for both of you. So it's a very incredible and rewarding hobby. So now that you know the importance of the bees and let's talk about them and see what all the buzz is about. The importance of the bees is, of course, the biggest one for us in society is the pollination. Pollination, according to The Guardian, they say why bees are important. They wrote that bees pollinate 84% of our crops. Now, with all of our crops that we have, there's not only is there the worker bees, as far as the honeybees, there's also alkaline bees and cutter bees, and they're all doing their job. There's many different kinds, and it's just all of our fruits and everything really, really rely on bees heavily. So the fruits, the vegetables, the nuts, the seeds, everything relies on the bees. So it's not just the honey, and it's not just the apples on the tree, but it's also the seeds and the walnuts and any kind of nuts, anything that bears a fruit. So not only do we rely on the bees, but also the squirrels, the birds, the insects. Everybody relies on everything that they do, and they're going from one flower to the next flower to bear that fruit. We all benefit from it. So it's whether it's from us and down to all the little animals. Now, how do they pollinate? The bees fly from flower to flower, and then they come smothered up in the pollen, and they carry it from this flower to that flower, and they from the male to the female flowers. And it could be done by man, but it'd be costly and inefficient. And there's other insects out there, and bee or other little bugs and whatnot. Now they're also pollinating, but they don't do near as effective a job. A butterfly is not going to do a great job of pollinating, but it does. So now that you know a little bit about some of the importance of bees, let's talk about the bee itself. So what does a bee do? According to ThoughtCo, 10 Amazing Facts About Bees, they say that bees in the summer can live for 6 weeks, 9 weeks in the wintertime. So you can say a bee is working itself to death. A bee in its lifetime will collect about 1/12 of a teaspoon in 6 weeks of its working in the summer. And worker bees and the queen bees are the only females in the hive. Now the whole hive is all worker bees. And they're the nurse bees taking care of the young brood. And then you got the worker bees out gathering and foraging for honey and pollen. Then the male bees, there's drones. Their job solely is to reproduce. And when the reproduction is done, they're pretty much cast out of the hive. So what do the bees build? So what do they build for themselves? Is, of course, they gather the nectar and they bring it home for the honey. Now there's wax in the hive produced from the glands of the bee's abdomen. So all the cells and all the foundations of everything of the hive is all from the wax from the bee itself. And according to Wikipedia, propolis, which is glue that the bees produce, it's what they use in their hives to fill in all the joints. It's kind of like a cement, and it's made from the saliva, from the wax, and maybe saps from the trees. So now that you've looked at the importance of the bees and the bee itself, let's focus on the obstacles the bees focus on for survival in today's society. Pesticides in the bees. Pesticides, there is the biggest uh, difficulty for all of our bees today. According to Wikipedia, pesticide toxicity to bees indicates that many problems with pesticides can affect the bees. So with the young bees, they are they go out and they forage for their honey, and they're collecting all this dust, and they're bringing all this dust from on top of the flowers that they're using as a pesticide, and they're carrying it back to their colony, and then all the other bees interact with the dust. And then there's also the chemicals that are in the ground. So then it comes through the stems of the flowers or the trees or wherever it's coming from, because that's where they get their nutrients from. And then the bees, they collect the nectar and they take it back and they put it in their cells. Well, the honey that they collect and put in the cells is all their storage for their food, so then they're contaminating their whole entire hive. So all of them are affected through that. Through over a period of time, the bees are dying away. So the prevention of spreading of pesticides. The best way for us not to be able to contaminate the bees is to just keep them away from all the chemicals. But is that going to happen? It can't happen. Because there's chemicals everywhere. There's chemicals on the flowers. There's chemicals on the ground that they're getting from everybody's driveways. But that's not going to happen. So the best thing we can do is we can communicate with the farmers, find out what they're putting out in their fields for the bees to, so the bees are not interacting with all these chemicals at a safe time. So if they're going to be spraying all the dust on the trees, they can wait 3 to 4 weeks or whatever the time length is, so the bees can come in and safely do their job, and they can safely do their job and hopefully work together a little bit better. So I hope this helps you learn today a little bit about the importance of bees in our society and about the bees and all the challenges that they have to face in today's society to do their job and our job and have a happy world here that can provide us with healthy and abundant crops with pesticides that have the impact on the bees. Thank you.